conversation around Euphoria's finale was already intense. People were arguing about Rue's fate, debating whether the ending made sense, and trying to process what they had just watched. But then something else happened. Fans started paying attention to someone who wasn't saying much at all: Zendaya. For years, she had been one of the biggest champions of Rue's story. She talked about the character with genuine affection. She defended her. She worried about her. She repeatedly spoke about hope, recovery, and redemption. So when the finale aired and Rue's story came to a tragic end, many people expected Zendaya to have something to say. Instead, what stood out was the silence. And for a lot of viewers, that silence became a story of its own. What's interesting is that fans didn't suddenly start questioning things after the finale. The speculation actually started long before the final episode ever aired. Leading up to season 3, people were already wondering why Euphoria had taken so long to return. The gap between seasons felt unusually long. During that time, rumors circulated that there had been disagreements behind the scenes about where the story should go. Some reports suggested that creative discussions involving Sam Levinson, HBO, and key members of the cast were more complicated than fans realized. None of those rumors were ever fully confirmed, but they created an atmosphere where viewers were already looking for signs that something wasn't quite lining up. Then season 3 finally arrived. And almost immediately, people noticed that the cast didn't seem nearly as enthusiastic about promoting the show as they had in previous years. Fans began comparing interviews, looking for clues, trying to figure out whether everyone was simply exhausted after such a long production process, or whether there was something bigger happening beneath the surface. Then came one interview that got people talking. While promoting another project, Zendaya casually referred to Euphoria as the final season, before any official announcement had been made. It wasn't presented as some dramatic reveal. It almost sounded like someone who had already moved on.
The show is so much about trauma. We see so much about trauma. How many seasons could a show go like this?
Well, I think what was really important this season was that we did this, right? Is that we carried her all the way, I think, to hopefully what is rock bottom in a dark moment, and hopefully by the end leave with a sense of happiness, of joy, that there is, I think, hope for her in the end. And I think that was expressed through her watching Lexi's play, but also I think I was able to write this song with Lab called I'm Tired, and we had written it earlier in the season for a different emotional point. What's up? For a different emotional point that Rue was in, and then once we got to the end and we had this hopeful moment, we were like, wait, let's go back and rewrite a version that has more hope and more joy in it and shows that Rue wants to be here. And it's up to her now. And I really hope that we can explore, I think, her life in the future closer towards the other side in her sobriety journey, figuring that out.
For viewers who were already suspicious, it felt like another piece of the puzzle. But the real reason people started questioning Zendaya's feelings wasn't because of what she said. It was because of what she had said years earlier. Long before season 3, Zendaya consistently described Rue as someone worth rooting for, someone worth believing in, someone who deserved another chance. Again and again, she spoke about recovery, about healing, about the importance of showing that people struggling with addiction are still worthy of love and support.
This is Ms. Rue going through it, as always, in the same old white tank top and a vintage button-up.
Euphoria, what have you seen? What should we expect?
I've seen a little bit, but it was a whirlwind. I usually did what I do in 8 months in like 4 months.
Whoa.
So I just was like, it was like trying to get 8 episodes in at once. So it just like flew by me. But I'm excited. I hope it turns out beautifully.
Like I've told you, I love what you do with recovery in the show.
Thank you so much.
It's so real.
I appreciate
the Hope episode, always.
In one interview, she said she hoped Rue could eventually accept that she deserved good things in her life. In another, she explained that she wanted viewers to leave with hope for Rue's future. She even pointed to the fact that Sam Levinson's own recovery journey suggested there was hope for Rue as well. Those comments became incredibly important after the finale, because suddenly, fans were looking back at them through a completely different lens. The version of Rue that Zendaya talked about for years seemed very different from the version audiences ultimately received. And then Sam Levinson made comments that pushed the controversy even further. After the finale aired, Levinson explained that Rue's ending felt honest. His argument was that people like Rue don't always make it. That explanation immediately sparked debate, not because audiences couldn't handle a tragic ending, but because many viewers felt the statement carried a larger implication. Some interpreted it as suggesting that recovery isn't possible. Others felt it contradicted years of storytelling that encouraged viewers to believe redemption could exist even after devastating mistakes. The discussion quickly shifted away from whether Rue's death was emotionally powerful. Instead, people started asking what message the show was trying to send. And that question became even harder to ignore because of how Euphoria was originally framed. For years, many fans viewed Rue as more than just a fictional character. She represented something, a possibility, a reminder that even people at their lowest point can find a way forward.
I've thought about this a lot because I think of Rue as as a real person. I think of her as somebody, I don't know if she's a little sister to me or somebody, but I really, really care about her. And I have a tremendous amount of protection and I just want her to do well in life and all this stuff, you know? And I don't think I could tell her anything because I think she's heard it all before, and that's the point, is she can't receive that information. She's got to figure it out on her own. But what I wish for her, what I hope she finds out, and what I hope she allows herself is to accept the good things in her life and to accept the fact that she's worthy of good things. Because I think when you make those kinds of mistakes and you cause that kind of damage, you don't think that you're worthy of good and you continue to damage yourself. And I want her to know that she's good. And I want her to know that she's worthy of love and beautiful things happening and entering her life. And I always say that I feel like there's hope for Rue, because if Sam is any indication of who Rue can be, she'll be all right. You know, so there's definitely some hope there for Ruru.
That perspective wasn't invented by fans. It was reinforced by interviews, promotional material, and conversations surrounding the show for years. So when the finale removed that possibility entirely, some viewers felt like the story had abandoned one of its most important ideas. Whether that's a fair criticism or not, it's a huge reason why the backlash became so emotional. People weren't simply losing a character. They felt like they were losing the message that character represented. Then, another moment reignited the discussion. Zendaya's mother shared a social media post acknowledging the reaction to the finale. She said she had received countless messages about the episode and admitted that it made her sad. But she stopped there. No detailed explanation, no defense of the ending, no further comment. Just enough to get people talking. Almost immediately, fans began connecting that post to Zendaya's silence. Then they connected both of those things to the older interviews where Zendaya spoke passionately about Rue's future. And suddenly, a theory emerged. What if Zendaya wasn't completely happy with the ending either? To be clear, there is no public statement from Zendaya saying she disagreed with the finale. There is no direct confirmation that she fought against Rue's ending. But that's exactly why the conversation continues. Because people are filling in the blanks themselves. They're comparing years of interviews. They're comparing her earlier optimism about Rue's future with the ending that ultimately happened. They're noticing what wasn't said after the finale. And they're wondering whether the biggest supporter of Rue's redemption story privately wished things had ended differently. Maybe the answer is yes. Maybe it's no. But what makes this situation fascinating is that the debate is no longer just about Rue's death. It's about whether Euphoria stayed true to the message many viewers believed it was building toward from the very beginning. And until Zendaya decides to speak openly about the finale herself, fans will probably keep asking the same question. Was Rue's ending really the story everyone intended to tell? Or was it simply the version that made it to the screen?